Hello, I'm Alan Fulton. My company is Alan P Fulton Artisan Goldsmith. I'm talking to you today from my studio here in the centre of the picturesque village of Eaglesome. I want to explain about the 4 C's of diamonds: colour, clarity, cut and carat weight. What they mean and how important they are when you are selecting diamonds. The reason for these videos is that over the years I've heard so many misunderstandings regarding particularly colour and clarity, and people getting told that clarity is more important than colour, which I totally disagree with, and other diamond merchants do too. So I'm going to try and show you the importance of the colour against the clarity, and then we've got the cut and the carat weight. And I'm going to introduce a 5th, which is certification. Firstly, I'm going to deal with colour. When grading diamonds, they should be viewed in a northern light, a reflected light in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it would be a southern light. In other words, it's not a direct sunlight. I'm fortunate in the studio here that my windows at the front of the studio face north-northwest, so I get very good light most of the time. However, colour. I have 2 diamonds here. One is 2 to 3 grades better in colour than the other, and I'm hoping that the camera will be able to pick this up and you'll be able to see it. If it doesn't, you'll just have to take my word for it, and the person that's videoing this has seen them and agrees that that's the case. So here are the 2 diamonds, and as I said, I'm hoping that the camera can pick this up, that the one on the right hand side, the one where the tweezers is a lower grade than the one on the left hand side here, and there's approximately 2 to 3 grades of a difference. And with your naked eye, you can see that right away. Next, I'm going to deal with clarity. The ruler or the rule of thumb to determine the clarity of a diamond is using a 10 magnification lens. So I've got this one here, which you stick in your eye and you can pick the diamond up and you can have a look at it like so. Or more commonly, you've got a 10 magnification loupe, which again, you just use like so, and you can bring it up to your eye and you can look at the diamond all the way around. Because sometimes, the way diamonds are cut, if there's tiny small inclusions in the diamond, you can't sometimes view them from the top. You've got to view them from underneath because of the reflection of the stone. So it's important that when you're grading a diamond that you actually see them loose and not in a setting. So I think you can see from that to determine the clarity of a diamond, you need a 10x lens. But as I've previously shown you in a previous video, you can determine the colour of a diamond with your naked eye. So which is more important? Well, it's pretty obvious. The colour is more important than the clarity to some degree. You don't want the stone to be too included with large inclusions, because that can ruin the look of the stone. But you know, from a VVS, very, very slight inclusion, down to even what I would call a bluffy SI2. I clean as an SI1. But a bluffy SI2 where the inclusions are smaller and in a certain area you can get away with. But lower than that, I would be very careful. Now we're going to deal with cut. These 2 diamonds look exactly the same diameter, but they're not the same weight. The one on the right hand side here weighs 0.48 of a carat. The one on the left hand side weighs 0.40 of a carat. So there's 20% of a difference. Yet they're the exact same diameter. Why is that? It's because of the way they're cut. This one here, which is the lighter stone, is shallower cut than this one. I got these two stones in along with another one, which I'm not showing you because it's not a good example, but this is a good example. I got 3 stones in for a client, and she could see quite readily that this one sparkled more than that one. And the reason for that is because this one is too shallow cut. This one is a better cut, and it sparkles, or it's got more fire in it. This one just doesn't do it. And this is where you've got to view stones to see if your eye can pick up something. So it's important that it's cut correctly to the right proportions. I've turned the diamonds onto their side now, and I'm hoping the camera can pick this up, that the diamond on the right hand side is the deeper cut stone, and the shallow one is on the left hand side. And with it being the proportions of the cut of the one on the right hand side, that's why it sparkles better than the one on the left hand side. So it is important that you get a stone that's cut correctly and more to the proportions it should be. Now we're dealing with carat weight, and as it says in the title, carat weight, it's a weight, it's not a dimension. Some people think it's a dimension, but it's a weight. 1 carat is 0.2 of a gram, so 5 carats is 1 gram. But a carat is split into 100 points, a wee bit like pounds and pence. 100 points. So half a carat is 0.50, 50 points. Now I've got, these scales here are very accurate scales, and they can go from 1 point up to X number of carats. But if I put this stone on, I think that's the 34 point stone, 0.34, there you go. Hopefully you can see that, it's showing 3.5, but it's the air pressure sometimes changes that, but it's a 34 point of 3.6, that's because I'm touching it. 3.4, 0.34, so it's 34 points. Some people get a wee bit confused thinking that carat is a diameter, or if it's a square stone, it's a certain size. It's a weight. So therefore, if the stone is deeper cut, it will be slightly smaller than one that's shallower cut, like I said in the previous video. So it's carat weight. I'm introducing a 5th C now, which is certification. It's become a big thing in recent years that everybody's wanting a certificate for their certain size of diamond. And the certificates, the well-known certification is a GIA. It's possibly regarded as the best. I would say generally speaking it is. However, I have seen some poor GIA certifications in the past. And you've got to remember that a certification is not the certification of colour and clarity of a stone is not done by machine. It is done by an individual, and how good or well trained that individual is, who knows? And there's a number of different laboratories. This certification is laminated, hopefully you can see that, and it is done in a laboratory, under laboratory conditions. In other words, for the colour, you're looking at a northerly light in the northern hemisphere, southerly light in the southern hemisphere. And all the information is on the certificate. This is for a princess cut. You can see it's a square stone. This is a princess cut certificate. But it's somebody's impression of how good a colour or how good clarity the stone is. It's not done by machine. So it's just an impression. A number of years ago, to prove a point, an individual got 7 diamonds of different colours and clarities, gave them to 7 different laboratories, and he got 7 different results for each of the stones. No 2 laboratories gave the same result for any one stone. So you get 49 different results with 7 stones in 7 laboratories. And that just shows you that. It's just an impression of how good the stone is or how bad the stone is. It's just an impression. In summing up, I think you can see that colour is more important to some degree than clarity. And as I say, some degree, because if you go too poor a clarity, then that can cause an issue with the way the stone looks. But generally speaking, colour is more important than clarity. Then we've got cut. As I've shown, if it's too shallow a cut, I didn't show you a really deeply cut stone because I didn't have one, but it's the same for a really deeply cut stone. It doesn't look as good as a properly proportioned stone which sparkles and gives you a lot more fire. So the cut's quite important too. Carat, weight. It is a weight, it's not a dimension. So because of the cut, you can get a shallower stone that looks the same as a properly cut stone, and they look exactly the same size. So everything is encompassed. They all go together. It's important. It's not as simple as reading something online or being told about it. You've actually got to view it and assess it with your own eyes. And then the certification. It's only one person, one individual's assessment of how good or bad a stone is. It's not a scientifically proven scenario or using a machine to assess it. It is somebody's naked eye with a 10x lens for the clarity. It's their opinion. So it's a guide. It's not set in stone. So it's colour followed by clarity, but